welcome to a new video.
Hi, it's a very exciting video today.
We've got something exciting to announce for you guys. Yes, there's a crab on my head, and you will find out why in just a moment.
I can reach for a well-worn book to give me an escape.
So what are we doing today, Casey? What are we announcing?
Today we are announcing our year-long Cosmere CRABALONG.
The CRABALONG. It's a read-along all year long for the entire Cosmere by Brandon Sanderson. Literally every single Cosmere work, including the short stories and novellas. We've laid it all out for you guys to read throughout the entire year, and it's called a CRABALONG, and you won't find out why that is until like September.
Till like September.
Till September. If you haven't read any of the Cosmere, or you haven't read the Stormlight Archive, you won't understand the crab joke, but don't worry. If you have to read and find out.
Just know that there are crabs coming your way.
Crabs are coming for you. Read along is going to start in January and it's going to run all the way through December. We've split it up so that we're reading like 1 to 2 books every single month. We don't expect people to like be crazy and do the entire read along with us. I assume Casey and I are going to be the only ones who do the entire read along. But if you feel like going full chaos and just diving in and doing all of it, like please do. We would love to have more people reading everything with us. But we wanted it to be super casual and chill so like people can kind of like pick and choose what they read along with us and like what live shows they want to attend and all that stuff. So like if you're interested, don't look at this and be like, that's so much and I'm intimidated and I don't want to do it. Because you can just be like, well, I want to read Warbreaker, so I'll join along in February and I'll read Warbreaker. And then like drop in and out whenever you want. You don't have to do the whole thing. It'd be cool if you did though.
It would be cool, but we know that who knows what 2021 will bring us. So
who knows? Okay, who knows?
Who knows? We are doing a kickoff live show January 10th. Time to be determined.
I think if you are interested in this and you want to join that live show, it's going to just be like a kickoff party where we like maybe answer questions for people who don't know about the Cosmere, have any questions about just the read along in general, or just want to hang out and like just get hyped. Let us know in the comments what time zone works best for you, and we'll like run a poll and see like whatever seems to be the most popular time. We'll try to do that. So we haven't set a time yet, but be sure to keep an eye on our Twitter, which I will link below, and I'll also put in text on the screen because I don't remember what is it, Cosmere CRABALONG at Twitter, I think is the Twitter that I made for this. So all of the information will be on that Twitter, and it will be linked in the description down below. So check that out. We will update that once we know the times of live shows and all of that stuff.
And we're going to do live shows every month to talk about what we read that month.
Yes.
Which are not planned out at all so far. We just know that we're going to do them.
Yeah. And also,
and have guests.
We're going to have some exciting guests. There are going to be several booktubers joining us along this journey to co-host for certain books during certain months. We don't know who's doing what when. We're still kind of piecing out the details for you. But we're going to have some great friends along with us, one of which is Steph from Coffee Over Apples, and we're really excited to have her because we love Steph so much.
We do. We love Steph a lot.
And Steph is a Cosmere newbie. She's never read anything Cosmere, so we're really extra excited to have her along just because that's really fun.
It is. It's so much fun. I love newbies.
It's just so great to watch somebody just like get into it. It's just, it brings me joy. It's like a true form of serotonin, okay? Other booktubers who are joining us, we've got Jessie from The Bookish Mom, who I love Jessie. Jessie's great. Jessie only has one flaw, and that's she doesn't like the best character in the entire Cosmere, but that's okay. I still love you, Jessie. So Jessie's gonna be joining us as well. Who else is joining us, Casey?
Spencer from Sphinx Read will also be joining us.
It's another Cosmere newbie.
Another newbie, although I think he's been reading some of Sanderson's other works,
yes,
but not Cosmere works. So
yeah, he's going to be reading also during the read-along. He's also going to be reading some of the non-Cosmere stuff. So like if you're interested in that as well, we're going to have channels for those in the Discord just in case people want to chat about those if they're reading them at the same time. So you're completely covered when it comes to Sanderson with us.
All the Sanderson. Also Max from Max Reads will be joining us. We will also link his channel down below.
Yes.
I don't know if he's a newbie.
I want to say yes to the Cosmere, but I'm not actually sure. So yes. And also all of the channels for the people we're mentioning are going to be linked down below. You should check them out if you're not already subscribed to these people because they are amazing. They make great content. I love them to death. They're good. They're good.
They're good eggs. Yeah, like if you're worried in our Discord, if you are worried that you are posting too much at any point, you're not.
No.
We want to know all of your thoughts.
We really, really do. So yes, we're going to have a Discord. It's already set up. It will be linked in the description down below as well. Please feel free to join. It's going to be set up where you can go into the different channels to talk about the different books. So if you're only reading like one book, just mute all of the channels and then just go into that chat and talk about the book as you go through. It's set up real easy. All of the information that you need, all of the live show stuff, that's all going to be updated in like a specific channel in there. So it should be laid out hopefully easy. And if it's not, just tell me and I'll fix it.
Yeah, just let us know.
If there's any problems in the Discord, let me or Casey know. We're the ones running that thing. And we're trying to get a couple of Cosmere newbies and also Cosmere veterans along for hosting, co-hosting the live shows. And depending on how many people we get involved and like when things happen, we might do some of the live shows on other people's channels, depending on who's co-hosting what. So keep an eye out for that. We will make sure you get all of the information as these things roll out. So what we're going to be doing throughout the year is we're reading 1 to 2 books every month, including the short stories. And we're going to go through what those are for each month right now for you, so get hyped.
Buckle in.
So in January, we're going to be reading Elantris by Brandon Sanderson. This is the first book he ever published, and it's also the first written work within the Cosmere. It's a standalone story, so it's very easy to just pick it up and get through it. It follows 3 different point of views, and it has a really cool magic system. The concept here is that the magic has failed, and it's doing all sorts of weird stuff. There's a lot of political intrigue in this book. It is a weaker work within the Cosmere. It's still a strong story. It's still really good. And it's a great place to start if you're new to the Cosmere, because it is a standalone story. It's one story in one book, not a lot of commitment there. So we're going to be reading this in January, and then following this, we're going to be reading Emperor's Soul, which is a short little novella short story. This is set in the same world as Elantris. It's on the same planet, but following a different magic system, and it follows just this one character. It's very short. It's like 150 pages, I think, and it's very, very good. It's not required reading for the Cosmere, but it's still very good, so I say that it's worth it. And also, you can buy it as its own little book, but it's also a short story that is found in the short story collection from Brandon Sanderson in Arcanum Unbounded. Also, the other thing we're reading in January is The Hope of Elantris, which is a short story that is set after the events of Elantris. It's not really required reading, it's just kind of like a fun extra addition to the story. If you skip the short stories in January, that's totally fine. All of Brandon Sanderson's short stories, except for like one, can be found in this collection. So that's what you're going to want if you do want to follow along with the short stories, is you're going to want to get Arcanum Unbounded.
In February, we will be reading 1 book and 2 short stories. The book is Warbreaker, which is a standalone. This magic system is very interesting. It's based on color and breaths, which you will learn more about what that means when you read this book. It is about 2 sisters, one of which who has ended up married to the God King, and the other one which has followed her sister to try and save her, and has fallen in with mercenaries and a talking sword. She makes friends with a talking sword, who is my favorite sword. And you may think, like, oh, talking sword, that sounds very light. This is not a light book at all. But it is very fun, and it is very colorful and beautiful, and just, yeah, a lot of fun. The other 2 things we'll be reading in February are Six of Dusk and Shadows for Silence in the Forest of Hell. They are both short stories, and they are both located in this, which is Arcanum Unbounded. It is the short story collection that Sanderson put out. Oh yes, both of these short stories are within the Cosmere. Shadows is probably not like required reading for Cosmere stuff, but it is very interesting and is a short story. It's set in a very interesting world, and it's also very different from a lot of the other stuff in the Cosmere. Six of Dusk is a little more important for Cosmere stuff. Like, you can still skip it if you want to, but I would still recommend picking it up. It has some things that will come up to play later, will pop up later, so you might want to get to that now. Besides that, I'm not going to say much more about them. They're very short, obviously, short stories, so I don't want to like spoil anything for you. So that is February.
In March, we're going to be reading Mistborn, which is Sanderson's probably most popular series, and that's for good reason. This series is so good. You basically follow like a ragtag crew of metal benders while they try to overthrow God. It's so much more complicated than that. It's so much more complex than that, and it's so much better than that. A lot of people, when they read this book, think they got the story pegged, and let me just tell you, they are always wrong. Where it goes in the 2nd and 3rd books in the series is just completely different than what you expect when you get into this book, and it's just so good. It really kind of opens the door for the wider Cosmere. This is what we're reading in March.
In April, we will be reading The Well of Ascension, which is the 2nd book in the Mistborn series. I'm not going to give you a summary, obviously, because it is the 2nd book in a series, but I love this book a lot.
And then in May, we're going to be reading The Hero of Ages. This is the final book in the Mistborn trilogy in Era 1. This book doesn't really need much of a summary because it's the third book in the series, but this is what we're going to be reading in May. So after we read The Hero of Ages, in May we're also going to be reading The 11th Metal, which is another short story that can be found in Arcanum Unbounded. Not like a critical Cosmere reading, it's more of just like a fun extra addition to the story. It follows one of the characters in the series, and it just kind of shows like a little bit of backstory for them, kind of. And it takes place before the first book in Mistborn, but I don't think it's best to read it before you read the series, so I put it after Hero of Ages, but again, it can be found in this book here.
In June, to separate eras 1 and 2 of Mistborn, because there is a 300-year time jump in the middle of there, which can be very jarring for some people, to split up those eras. We're going to be reading all 3 volumes of White Sand, which is a graphic novel that is illustrated by Rick Hoskin and written by Brandon Sanderson, obviously. A bit of a break between all of the other stuff happening, but a mid-year chill time. This story follows a man who believes he's the only survivor of the Sandmasters, who were slaughtered in a sinister conspiracy. This is actually something that both Brie and I have not read yet, so we're really excited to get to it. Like, I kept putting it off for whatever reason, and then we never ended up getting into it, so we will be reading this new with you. So this is Volume 1, Volume 2, and Volume 3 of White Sands.
In July, we're going to be reading The Alloy of Law, and we're also going to be reading Shadows of Self. These are books 1 and 2 in the Mistborn Era 2 series, also referred to as the Wax and Wane series. I didn't want to double up on a lot of books in this read-along, but since these ones are pretty short and they're very fast reads, I thought it was okay to put them in the same month to kind of make things fit. So we're reading both of these in July. Mistborn Era 2 is kind of, I don't want to tell you a lot about the like plot because you need to read Mistborn Era 1 first. It's a very fast-paced, fun, quick read. It's kind of got Wild West vibes, which are really, really great. And it takes place 300 years after the first series. The time jump there can be pretty jarring because it is a very different setting with 300 years of progression in world. Some people really don't vibe with this setting here because it is so different than what you expect after reading the first era, but it's still really good. It's really, really fun. So we are reading both of these books in July.
In August, we will be reading The Bands of Mourning, which is the 3rd book in the Wax and Wane series. I'm obviously not going to give you a summary for this because it is the 3rd book in the series again. Very spoilery. But I will say this is probably my favorite one in the series, which is saying a lot because I really love this Yeehaw era. The Yeehaw era is a good era. And no, I'm not going to explain that. So also during that month, we will be reading Secret History, Mistborn: A Secret History, which is a short story that you absolutely, I cannot stress this enough, you should not read until you have read Bands of Mourning. Please do not read Secret History first. Some people say to read it after the 3rd book in the original Mistborn era. That is not true. That is where it takes place timeline-wise, but you will spoil yourself so much for Bands of Mourning if you read Secret History first. Please do not do it. Don't do that to yourselves. I'm someone that doesn't mind spoilers. I even search out spoilers sometimes, but even as someone who is like that, I would say to wait on Secret History until now. So yes, that is August.
Then in September, we are going to be reading The Way of Kings, my true love, the big one, the big boy. It's impossible to give you a quick, snappy summary of what this book is about, what this series is. Basically, you're being introduced to this world that's ravaged by storms. There's this incredible magic system, a large cast of characters, but in the first book, you're basically following 3 different characters. You've got the soldier turned slave, you've got the scholar turned thief, and you've got the warlord whose thirst for battle has waned. All of these 3 on this incredible journey. This series is really where the Cosmere kind of comes together. Not a slow start because this book is set up for the entire series. It's going to be 10 books. Right now it's 4. It's going to be a 10-book series, so this book does move a little slower. I personally don't mind that, but some people do have issues with the pacing of this story, but I think it works for the story that's being told. So just fair warning though, it does have a slow start, but it's so worth it. I promise the journey is worth it for this one. That's our pick for September. Get excited for the crabs.
In October, we will be reading Words of Radiance, which is book 2 in the Stormlit Archives. And I'm not going to give you a summary for this because it is book 2 and there is a lot that happens in Way of Kings. So
I'm going to be reading Edge Dancer, which is a short novella that takes place between books 2 and 3 of the Stormlight Archive series. It comes as its own little book, but again, this is one that can also be found in Arcanum Unbounded. It's in this collection as well, so you don't have to like purchase it as its own thing if you get this collection. But you can also buy it as its cute own little book, and it's really adorable. It's like 200 pages. It's very short. Can you skip this and still understand things in the Stormlight Archive? Absolutely. Should you read it anyway? Absolutely. It's very good. It follows a side character who's going to be more important later in the series. It just kind of follows her on this like little kind of side journey thing. You learn some important things in it, not like super big things that you're going to really be confused about if you don't miss it, but also it takes you to a new place in the world, so you get kind of more world expansion there, and you meet a really interesting character in this novella, so I definitely think it's worth reading, but it's not going to kill you if you skip it. But it takes place between Words of Radiance and Oathbringer. So in November, we are going to be reading Oathbringer. Oathbringer is book 3 in the Stormlight Archive series. There's not really anything I need to tell you about the plot of this one, obviously, because it's the 3rd book in the series, but this is our pick for November.
And finally, rounding out the year in December, we will be reading Dawnshard and Rhythm of War. Dawnshard is a novella that takes place exactly halfway in between Oathbringer and Rhythm of War, and there's like a year gap, and it takes place 6 months after Oathbringer and 6 months before Rhythm of War. This one, Edge Dancer, is more fun and not as required to read, but I feel like this one definitely is required reading. There's just a lot that happens at the end of it, which I did not expect, but there is so much Cosmere information and some Cosmere bombs in there. It's a lot. It's a lot. And then finally, to round out the year, of course, Rhythm of War, which just came out. It's still fresh in my brain, but obviously I can't say anything about it because it is the 4th book, so.
Hey friends, Editing Brie here, just to let you guys know that I forgot to throw in the graph that I made to kind of break down what we're reading each month. And so you don't have to memorize everything that we just said in the video. I'm going to put that over my gross face right now, and you can see that will be the pinned tweet on the Cosmere CRABALONG Twitter. So you can go there, you can save this image and have it for reference later so that we don't have to remember everything that we just said in this video. So there's that. Sorry, forgot to put it in the actual video because I'm stupid. Okay, that's all. Those are all of the books that we're going to be reading this year. Obviously, like we said, pick and choose what you want to read along with us. You don't have to look at this and be like, oh, that's just too much and I don't want to do it. If you just want to read like Stormlight or Mistborn or Warbreaker, or if there's just whatever, just stick around for that month, come to the live shows, hang out with us. It's going to be a great time. And when we do our live show kickoff party on January 10th, time to still be decided. If you have any questions about the read along or just about like the Cosmere in general, Sanderson's works, anything, be sure to come give us those questions on the live show, and we will try to make things clear for everybody.
If you wanna be a co-host, if you're a booktuber and you wanna co-host with us, feel free to reach out to either of us.
Yes,
comments,
please.
YouTube message, Twitter, Instagram DM, on Discord, like
yes,
anywhere you're comfortable with.
Yes, in touch with us anyway, and we will be down. Okay, we are super hyped to get more people involved in this because we just think it's going to be really, really fun. So we would love to have you. So just reach out.
Try and like, we want to make new friends and we want to hype up other people's channels. So
yes,
let us know.
Thanks for watching, everybody. If you have any questions or anything, leave them in the comments down below. Let us know if you're excited about this read along, if you're going to participate. We're really, really excited. We really hope people join us. This started as Casey and I just being like, let's just reread the whole Cosmere. And then we were like, wait, we have a booktube channel. We should probably just do this as like a thing. And then it suddenly became like a whole thing. And now we're here. And I have a crab on my head. So like, please come.
Please come.
Please remember to like this video and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already.
Life before death.
Life
Radiant.
before death radiant.
And I get lost inside the pages. I just feel all of my pain melting away, at least for the day. I just need a good fit.